Hey everybody, welcome back to Wealthy Sailor. I am John. Like always, I am the Wealthy Sailor, except I'm not that wealthy, but I'm working on it. That's actually the whole point of this channel, is to catalog as I try to save and invest more. So we're going to talk about saving, we're going to be talking about investing, and today I want to talk to you specifically about my updates. So for those of you who follow the channel, you know that in the first video of each month, I just update you on how I did in the previous month, what my totals are, and how far along I am with setting my goals. So along with that, this is also my 6-month mark on YouTube, which has been amazing. I've learned so much because, believe it or not, if you're going to talk about stuff, you should probably know what you're talking about. So I do a lot of research into things before I make videos, and it's actually helped me further my financial education, and it's been amazing. So for anybody who might be watching this channel for the first time, the idea was that I started this channel back in June. And the idea was I wanted to catalog my journey as I want to become worth $500,000 by the end of 2021. The whole logic, the whole point of this thing was for me to increase it enough because I wanted to retire when my fiance retires, and she's in the military. The military has a very set time for retirement. They retire you after 20 years, or in some cases 30 years. Most likely she'll retire at 20 years. So I wanted to make sure I was also able to retire by that time, which means if we want to sit around and put our feet up for the rest of our life, we could do that. But in order to do that, we need to hit certain mile markers and savings plans in order to have the finances available for that. And real quick, before we get too deep in the video, I apologize for the lighting. If you notice, I have a new background. That's because I'm no longer doing these videos at work because I got too busy at work to do them, so I'm doing them back at my room, and I got a new room. So, difference behind me. No more of the cabinet. Now you just have a wall with a hoodie hanging up, and this is actually a mirror, as you can see. I've tried to look for cooler stuff to put there, but to be honest, with my deployment schedule, I haven't wanted to order anything new, so this is what we got. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. So I have a very well-paying job. My fiance has a very well-paying job. We have one child. We don't really have any debt or anything like that, but we still weren't saving a lot. So we want to change that. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, now for update time. Now I'm very excited for this month, and there's a very specific reason. As of today, as of right now, I am worth $525,531. Now, for purposes of this conversation, that's very specifically my total net worth. That's all of my assets, subtract all my liabilities. Now, obviously, this is above the mark that I set for myself, but that's okay with me because the thing is that I'm currently deployed. Now, my income goes down drastically when I'm not deployed. So the idea isn't for me to hit this marker. It's to stay above this marker until New Year's of next year, which is going to be very difficult because my contract that I'm currently on comes to an end soon. So generally speaking, the way it works for defense contractors is that you save up a lot and then you live off that savings when you're not on contract, which is totally fine and it works. But I want to point out that a lot of this is savings for that, so I need to have more than what I'll need to survive until New Year's. Okay, so basically the rest of this video is just going to be telling you exactly how I achieved that, because you're talking about a $35,000 increase in a month, which is a 7% increase of my total net worth. Now, when you think of $35,000 increase in a month, that might sound like a lot, but in actuality, it's not all that much. And the reason being is because a lot of my net worth is from property inflation. For example, my Jacksonville home, which I currently have rented out, went up $3,400 this month, which means, I didn't do anything for that. It's just in the last 30 days went up $3,400. Likewise, my Virginia Beach house, the one that I live in with my family, went up $7,300, which means between the two of them, I have almost $11,000 in equity. That isn't part of anything I did. Like, I didn't make any good money moves. I didn't invest in anything. It's not like I bought Bitcoin and then that shot up. I just own property, rent it out, and it goes up. Now, some notable changes otherwise. Now, as I've been saying, I started this when the market was sort of artificially down. My first time when I first picked this challenge, all the numbers were from pretty much April and May for the June video. But the thing is that I think I kind of gave myself a head start because I started when everything was super low, so it had nowhere to go but up. So what I think in reality, looking back on it, is I think I was pretty much closer to the goal than I actually gave myself credit for. And had I realized that, I wouldn't have picked 500. I would have picked like 550, maybe $600,000. But either way, my IRA went up almost 9% this month, which was amazing. So that's $15,000 just in my IRA, which is amazing. My company matched 401k went up an additional 13%, which is why I always tell everybody, always take the employer match 401k, max it out. It's free money. There's no reason to not take it. But I did, and that went up. So not only does my employer match what I contribute and the contributions went in there, but the actual stuff, the assets that purchased, like all the stocks and the funds that's invested in, went up anyway, because especially now, because the market sort of stabilized after the election a little bit and everything's going up. So it's been working out really well for me. So another thing that went up really well was Robinhood, my Robinhood trading account. It's up like $2,500. For me, that's a lot because that's 15% of the total. I only have about $15,000 total in that account. I know some people have hundreds of thousands of dollars in Robinhood and stuff. I just don't have that. I put $15,000 in there about, and that is like a climbed amount. Like I probably only deposited like 9,000 total, and the rest I've actually just made. I do a lot of swing trading in that account where, like, for example, last video I mentioned that I bought a lot of oil companies when the hurricanes were heading for the Gulf, and I'm actually getting ready to sell them, but I'm kind of waiting for after the holidays because I think oil prices are going to continue to go up until after the holidays, and especially once COVID restrictions are lifted. I'm not too motivated to sell them, like, or I don't feel a timeline to sell them because I'm getting paid dividends for having them. Okay, and finally, the last thing I want to make, which is kind of a contradiction to a previous video I've made, I started getting into option trading, specifically one type of option trading. Now, I'm going to make a whole video about my experience with it. The reason I haven't yet is simply because I don't have enough experience with it. I've only made maybe a dozen trades. I've done pretty good with it, but whether it's a safe investment, the thing is that I haven't really lost money yet because the market's been going up pretty solidly. So I could have accidentally made money off of it with no skill of my own. Because of that, I don't really know, or I at least haven't experienced any of the downside yet. So until I do, I'm probably not going to make a video about it unless things start going really well. But I bring that up because I started the account with $2,000, and I've been doing it for I think like 6 weeks now, and I now have $2,800 in there, which I went up by $800, but that's off of a $2,000 investment. So that's like a 40% increase in 5 weeks. So I've been doing pretty well with it, and expect a video about that in the future where I can actually break down all the numbers and explain to you exactly what I did and why I did it. My other fear is that I'm worried that if I start talking to you about option trading, it's going to push a lot of people into doing it, thinking it's a get rich quick thing. And from what I can tell, it's not. I use it very specifically when I'm pretty certain a stock's going to go up, but I might not have the funding to be able to buy a significant amount of that stock. And I basically just have my own strategy. I only do one type of strategy on it because I understand that well, and I don't really understand the other ones. So I'm not an expert on it. Before I make that video, I'll do some research. Maybe I can direct you guys to like people who probably know it a lot better than I do and see what they do. Okay, so since we're at the 6 months mark, let's talk about the actual YouTube channel itself. So my YouTube channel grew pretty well. I mean, I have 50 something subscribers. It didn't go as fast as I thought it would, but I have to admit I kind of like it because, like I said before, it's really been holding me accountable. When I get bored and I go on Amazon, I really don't want to buy anything because I don't want to have to report to you all that I spent, $500-$600 on whatever. With that said, it is the Christmas holidays. I'm not sure if I'm going to share how much money I spent on Christmas because I kind of went a little overboard this year. But if I do, I will. We'll just wait and see. It depends. I think I'm going to have to talk to my family about that before I divulge like that kind of personal information. Anyway, so with the YouTube channel, I already did this is my 6 month mark. I plan on doing it at least at least another 6 months. But I'm thinking it's fair that I only do it for at least the duration of the challenge. Well, anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any Comments or suggestions, leave them below. I read pretty much all of them because I only get a couple on each video. Give me a share or subscribe if you liked it. Give me a thumbs up. I could always use more thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and keep saving.